All right, man. Let's get into it. I want to talk about a scumbag, a all right. What's up, people? Let's get into this talk with this fraudulent Mexican, man. Let's talk about this scumbag because I didn't took myself off the screen. We talk about this fraudulent Mexican, man. I don't know what the hell this dude is. This is a Mexican dude, a wedo. That's really what he is. He's a white dude. Don't know really what the hell he is from out there in the North Hollywood area. So this dude is a Mexican, and this is what I've always stated, man. I've stated this for a while when it comes to the cultural influence of within the Mexican culture, gang culture here in America. This is not Mexico. After a while, they begin to lose their identity. That's with any immigrant group who comes into a country that is a melting pot of all type of culture and racial dynamics. And the actual dominant culture is American culture, which happens to be highly influenced by the popularity of black culture. Now, going into this ignorant ass fool, I don't know if American gangsters or no, this fool ain't American gangster. Thing his name American Cholo. Like I have talked about this fool a while ago, only for one video and one video only, and that was the one dealing with Snoop Dogg's father going on to his show. Snoop Dogg father went on this show and I always speak about his father delivering one of the best accounts that I've ever heard of as it relates to the Vietnam War. So this is American Gangster dude, and the title of his video are Cholos losing their culture, and Cholo being with this ignorant fool is being kind of a derogatory ass term as well. But of course, a dummy like that wouldn't know that. But I want to go into his channel as well, where he speaks about his channel is about the Chicano influence, about speaking about Chicano culture or some dumb shit he brought up like that. But I don't think this damn ignorant buffoon who just loves to toss out terminology knows anything about the influence of Chicano culture, where the fuck it comes from. Because if anything, these fools be looking like ranchero looking ass motherfuckers in this country. So his description is focusing primarily on current political events, Chicano culture, gang prevention, and he ain't preventing none of that shit. He crying about watching, and I know exactly what video this comes from. And salute to this dude, King Supreme, because right before I set this live up, which I seen this video that popped on this screen from King Supreme talking about this fraudulent little Mexican dude who's really probably a white dude living in North Hollywood and influenced by Mexican gangs to fit into some shit. Showed this video about this dude crying. I was like, this fool got to be crying about the video that DC Baby Draco put out with the F-13s and shit. And then DC Baby Draco put out a video with another Mexican gang. So this is what I always say when you get people like Poetic Flacco who think they know LA and say all this other little dumbass shit, and everything is with the intention to try to degrade the influence of black folks out there in LA and to marginalize us, push it to the side. And a little African Idaho raised immigrant like Poetic Flacco don't know shit. Charleston White don't know shit about LA, and people from other little places across this damn country who think they can walk YouTube and get a misrepresentation about all of Southern California. And then here comes this one that shocks everybody to the fucking core. And it shows that fucking American Cholo ain't in touch with his own people. To where when this fucking video drops with the F-13, he's shocked by the youth that he see on there and the way they talk, because everybody's influenced by black culture in this country. And I want to go back to this Chicano shit that this fucking idiot named American Chicano, who ain't never studied shit in his life, he probably ain't learned nothing about him, about what he wants to represent, because he ain't a Mexican. He's some white influence. I guarantee he ever shows parents, one of them is definitely Caucasian. The family he probably goes out there and retreat with is definitely Caucasian. But he's a North Hollywood raised Mexican who those people have assimilated, and where they don't know what the fuck they are. They have a little piece of this association with with Mexican culture that's brought over here by their families. And then they dive into wanting to fit into white society and be good little Mexican kids who their parents teach them and change their name and their look and their identity to fit in. We don't want you to experience zoot suit related shit. Remember when the Navy and the police slapping y'all motherfuckers around out there? But going back into this Chicano shit, the influence of Chicano culture comes from Black Power movements. The Chicano culture is shaped around a Black influence. It's come from lessons of what they observed and watched from Black movements. And then we go into this video that got this little crybaby ass dude who can put all this cholo and fashion a name that nobody pays attention to, but a bunch of old ass burnt out rejects. The youth don't fuck with y'all. They don't listen to y'all. You guys haven't set great examples, no different than when you go into Black youths. This is degenerate fucking culture, and they look at you, sorry motherfuckers, as degenerates. It ain't nothing you're passing on to them. But to pass judgment on how you hear these kids talk, what you want to talk like little white ass North Hollywood fools like you. And then when you look in the background in this fool's in his room or he ever does media shit, it ain't nothing associated in this damn room with Chicano culture. He ain't got one thing associated with Chicano culture while talking about being a Cholo. Ain't even one thing Cholo culture in this background. Everything associated in this background shows exactly what an assimilated, brainwashed, white acting, fake Mexican would display in this shit. Because there ain't nothing Mexican or Chicano about this fool except with what he wants to talk, dog whistling. He's no different than a Tariq Nasheed and a Omar. All I see in this damn Last Supper photo in the back is a white broad who ain't Chicano. It looks like motherfucking what's them fool's name? What's the damn Rat Pack motherfucker? Frank Sinatra looking ass people in the band background with white broads. I see nothing but white folks all in this background. Arcade video game shit like a little ass kid. Drunken shit like a kid. Ain't nothing for a goddamn youth to look up to. Represented with the shirt of a university that doesn't even represent people like him. This motherfucker don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But he's mad because he hear these kids not talking like little North Hollywood influenced as Mexican kids who act white. These are Mexican kids who grew up in a Black community. To where you hear Mexicans that are mad when they hear these kids talking about dead homies. To where in this lifestyle that they live, which is a degenerate lifestyle, which is because they go in this lifestyle because it ain't nothing presented to them from the people who raised them and from the people who I guess are supposed to be their big homies and shit. And American Cholo ain't a motherfucking influence for nobody. He can't even fucking stop the kids from wherever this community he comes from going down that road and living in that lifestyle. And in a lifestyle that leads all of them right to a penitentiary system, ran and controlled by a bunch of white folks who American Cholo wants to be like. Like I said, the best thing I ever watched on American Cholo's channel was when he featured Snoop Dogg's father, who's a Black dude. And only listened to it to hear his accounts of what Vietnam was about and to bring up the racial experiences in that shit. And American Cholo, when I'm listening to that shit, shows he don't know shit about history or anything. That a dude talks about he speaks on Chicano culture when he don't know anything about Chicano culture. The influence of Chicano culture didn't come from out of Mexico, and it did not come from out of white ass America. So you better get your motherfucking reading up, get your studies up as a fraudulent Mexican that you are. But as far as what he wants to talk about, these kids talking about dead homies and this and that and their influence, they grew up in the Black community. These ain't North Hollywood Mexican kids. These are South Central raised Mexican kids who are influenced by the powerful influence in America of Black folks. You degenerate motherfucker. Now, the Mexican kids talking like degenerate white kids, he would have had nothing to say. But because of his disdain and hatred towards Black folks, and I guarantee maybe he had to stand up from the shoulders with a Black dude and got his motherfucking ass whooped. He done got beat out the frame, and that's why he harbors these views of Black folks when he grew up in fucking Hollywood, where your enemy is probably other Mexicans Armenians are white. And when you probably had your one fight against a black person, he probably beat you out the fucking frame. When it came down to you probably being in love with a broad, a black dude has probably fucked her out the frame. And that's where the descent towards their hatred of seeing the powerful impact of black folks all throughout Los Angeles in the way in which they see these youth talk, the way in which they see the behavior of their youth is similarly reminiscent of what you see within black youth who display, this degenerate thing in society, degenerate behavior in society, and that better known as gang life. And then let me go in the chat. Bipolar Score says American Cholo says doesn't like black people. Oh yeah, I see that. I see that. And he corrected the miswriting of the word black. Says he talks to his sorry. Says he won't talk to his black son-in-law. Says named Derek Kimball. Says he's a joke. And guess what? Because he sees that it was nothing that a Mexican dude can do that his daughter found attraction in. And this black dude is giving her the best joy of her life in the bedroom, pleasing and protecting her. That son-in-law can give two fucks about meeting this old dirtbag scumbag. Nobody give a fuck about them. And that'd be the problem with people like you who come from out of insecure culture. And that's what a lot of the young Mexican youth are getting away from. The insecure culture that has been brought over here from out of Spain-ass Mexico by their grandparents and some of their parents who are newly arriving to this motherfucker. They don't want to be nothing like you. You ain't never protected them. They've probably grown up watching you do ill shit with women because of your motherfucking lack of protection of women, not knowing how to deal with women, not how to be smooth with women. And even with the music a lot of these Chicano niggas listen to. You listen to old black oldies, motherfuckers. You niggas listen to black music. And then this dummy talks Chicano culture. Chicano culture is a black fucking culture, dummy. Shaped around what they have observed and copied from black power movements. Everybody who comes over here and have to fight against some shit has learned from black movements. Like American Cholo don't know shit. He ain't ever been challenged on shit. And he is an idiot. And that's why the young Mexican youth don't want to be nothing like this clown. It ain't nothing cool about him. Bitches don't like nothing about him. And his daughter sought to not fuck with anything that looked like her father because of the charismatic, smooth style of a black motherfucker seen around the fucking world. That even Chicanos have to copy the shit, learn some shit, have to strategize and learn how to keep white people foot out of their zoot suit wearing asses. Fucking idiot. Like I said, I guarantee American Chicano or whatever his name, Cholo, parents are fucking white. He's a Ryan Garcia ass Mexican. Maybe some white folks that adopted him or Mexican family adopted a white kid who now believes he's Mexican. Don't look shit like nobody in Mexico. And then talking about Cholo, because I thought Cholo was a derogatory term, but just like the N-word, people reshape the meaning of it. And if Lassie Cuts in the building says, what of always racism? Never racism, bro. Y'all need to learn the term of racism. It can be joking and all this other shit, but y'all play yourselves by even using terms like that. And to show how weak you motherfuckers' mindsets are. That if I address shit dealing with white related shit, y'all quick to point out racism. Like I said, I can bring white folks. I can show you. I know white folks of all type of culture. I ain't just hang with black folks. And I'm cool with a lot of people, a lot of shit, because I conversate. I can bring a white person on here and talk some old Ku Klux Klan ass shit. And you niggas wouldn't dare use the word racism towards them motherfuckers. Like, you niggas be quick to want to use that shit. Whether it's in joking matter or not, don't think it should be used towards a black nigga educating retarded motherfuckers on the truth about what racism is and when you deal with insecurities amongst Mexican people who see that they have no influence inside that culture because young Mexican kids don't want to be like these weird motherfuckers. They pick up meth habits from American Cholo type motherfuckers. They pick up abuse habits from American Cholo type motherfuckers. They pick up targeting within their own groups from American Cholo type motherfuckers. They pick up exploitation of friends and family from American Cholo type motherfuckers. Hollywood ass dudes. I guess they learned that behavior from the white folks out there where American Cholo grew up at. And then Michael Johnson in the building saying, yo, salute, salute. Velocity says it's definitely a SoCal thing. Says in NorCal, says Hispanics and Asians, says adopted black culture / lingo since like 25 years ago. And then, but you'll see Mexicans adopt that shit as well. Because as time goes on, they begin to delineate from what their parents bring over here. They only test American culture because their parents come over here being Spanish speakers. Don't know nothing about America. The kids have to adapt to that shit. The parents' experience ain't the same. The parents get out here and get abused in the work field by white folks. Go out there kissing the white people ass. While their kids have to grow up being raised in this shit. So the experiences are different. American Cholo know that shit, but his parents are white. And then he says NorCal Mexican says look down on Paisa says Southsiders. Yeah, that's what a lot of the other Mexicans, because when you look at Northern Cal Mexicans, you look at Texas Mexicans, they more charismatic. They more cooler. That Southsider shit, that shit is lame. They breaking away from that shit. Don't nobody want to fuck with that shit. When they dealing with bitches who take more care in their essence, their presence and look, they adapting to black culture and shit. So they breaking away from that shit. They don't want that shit. You slowly seeing a delineation from that shit because ain't nothing they gaining from American Cholo type people. They've been embarrassments to what it is to be young Chicano, or what they call it, Chicano Cholo. Know what the difference is. But this fool mad over watching the DC Baby Draco interview. Wait, let me see what gangs. Because DC Baby Draco, because you don't really get like vlogs with Mexican gangs. But if American Cholo is so attached to his association as a Mexican and a so-called OG, he would have been had understanding that this is the way these people talk, but he don't. He ain't raised around these people. He out there in Santa Ana and fucking Hollywood and shit. Wait, let me see this fool name. DC Baby Draco. He did with 2 Mexican gangs. I'm just pulling this shit up to look at the gangs. But like I say, you don't get Mexican gangs that conduct these type of interviews. So a lot of people didn't realize we've been saying it on here for the longest about the influence. When niggas listening to weird ass, fat ass, motherfucking Primero Flats. He did a Primero Flats in the F-13s, which are like old Mexican gangs, legendary Mexican gangs, very old Mexican gangs. And so when he listening to the youth and them speak, they speak like how the black kids. They speak like the environment they come from. Black folks are out there. They in school together. They go to jail together. The young fuck ups, they go into the fucking jail system together. And the being with the style and the presence of black folks, they pick on. Even as the Southsiders start coming up in the shit. Southsiders rap and shit. That ain't part of their, that's only part of their culture because they pick it up with black folks. They sound and style was different. So it's the American Cholo types that started to merge these two motherfucking cultures and shit. Is they couldn't stay away from it. We too magnetic. They couldn't stay away from that shit. So American Cholo need to break out of his insecurity as a fucking racist and wake the fuck up like his daughter did. Because like the cat put in there, his daughter done been fucked real royally and good by a black motherfucker. And her life is fun. She's enjoying her life. And that dude's going to protect the chick. And then, and he's a degenerate. You see a lot of that degenerate behavior that come from these motherfuckers. They reject their kids and don't want nothing to do with their grandkids. And the kids be like, fuck you. Nigga, life don't stop with no piece of shit ass parent. And then Irish, wait, how am I saying that? Oh, that says N-Shake Street Fighter. Oh, what's up, bro? This N-Shake Street Fighter in the building. Salute. He says, what's good? Says no matter what any person or people say, feel, or think, our history / treatment is all the proof. Says it was just cool to pile on now that past is now that past is making folks understand who / what we are. Exactly. And this American Cholo motherfucker, from when I look, is old Trump loving ass Mexican. Because he ain't fully Mexican. This fool's a white boy. He a Trump lover. He on his knees sucking off Donald Trump. He'd have sent his damn daughter to the island with Donald Trump. That's how degenerate American Cholo is. He a degenerate who no Mexican youth should ever follow the path of. It's nothing you can learn from degenerate. Even the behavior of gang life is have to be accepted as a degenerate behavior in its current standing, its current role. Drug use, alcoholism, abuse, misogyny, all that shit. Ain't nothing positive in that shit. And I don't think American Cholos ever delivered anything profound and beneficial to an American to a Mexican youth that is part of gang lifestyle. Ain't nothing nobody presents to these youth. They go on with the promotion of degenerate behavior that furthers the gap between success and fucking failure of a goddamn people. But this is a fool who talk about Chicano culture and don't know nothing about the history of Chicano culture. Because to have a Chicano culture, if American Cholo is really studying that, he have a better respect of what the influence and power of black folks is, because it affected the Latino folks that came before him when he was just a little pocket seed in a motherfucking. I was gonna say some shit. I ain't gonna be that derogatory. And then and the Velocity Cuss says facts, says Mr. Cartoon and photographer Estevans Oro says are real Chicano legends. And then yeah, they keep true to that culture and shit. They understand that shit. And then in the Brandon Washington in the building, salute CJ in the building. He says, I hope he sees this, says so he can make a video, says crying about it. Yeah, he can, but he should watch the video and listen to the lesson in it. And hopefully it fuck him up because he's a fraudulent ass Mexican. Ain't nothing Mexican about that dude. Ain't nothing that looks Mexican about this dude. I see this dude and see this a white dude and been sitting in the sun. And maybe his mother can be Mexican. His dad definitely got to be white. Maybe his dad is white, mother is Mexican. He a Ryan Garcia. It was funny the other day. I'm watching. Remember, because I always made this jokes about Ryan Garcia that his parents found a little white kid in the trash, because no way Ryan Garcia comes from the people he called his mother and father, and nothing's wrong with that. That's definitely his mom and dad who raised him. But blood wise, he ain't a fucking Mexican. Those people short as a motherfucker. This kid then there is tall as fucking me. My kids, well, I'm watching Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson's show. They interviewed Ryan Garcia the other day. And my kids is like, who is that? And I was like, oh, that's Ryan Garcia. And it was like Garcia, like he's white, ain't he? That's what they thinking. You don't look nothing Mexican. Motherfucker like a goddamn Italian and shit. Like fuck up out of here. Fools be faking like they Mexican and shit because it's what they raised around. It's no different than, and this other thing with when people are seeing with the Paramera flats, I'm gonna say tortilla flats, but the Paramera flats and the F-13s from the DC Baby Draco interview, and the fact that people are hearing the way they talk, it's no different than black folks who are raised around Mexican environments. Like I say, when I was going to Gar High School, I was cool with Mexican cats. I mean, not Mexican cat, with some black cats. I was always cool with Mexican cats. But with some black cats that were raised in that environment. I come from LA. I ain't come from Norwalk in the Cerritos area. But it was black cats that was raised around and lived in apartments where it's nothing but Mexicans in there. And they talk in the dialect that Mexicans used to talk, like the little street dialect that Mexicans have. And you even see some black cats that are from Mexican gangs who talk in the English dialect of how Mexican gang members talk, who don't speak like Mexicans raised around black folks. And used to trip off of seeing that shit. They dressed in a certain style. That wasn't the coolest of style. It was just a style that they adapted and associated with themselves. It wasn't a cool dress style. Now younger Mexican kids have more swag in their look, in their appearance. They chicks are a little bit more polished. Why? Because they pick these things up from black chicks and from black dudes. Simple as that. And that ain't a weirdo assimilation that a lot of American gangster or American cholo motherfuckers have picked up. These fools don't know nothing about themselves, don't know about history. Their parents just landed them in this motherfucker. It's simple as that. Their parents just landed their asses here. And then Bruce Gas in the building saying, what up? And say Street Fighter says, low key says, took the low riders. Yet the low riding is a black thing as well. The history of that, and heard people talk on that shit. Anthony Jones says he's not Mexican, says he's from Honduras. He a Honduran and associated with, he just wanted to belong to some shit. And I guarantee, even with Honduran, his parents are probably definitely white. He might be of German descent, all that shit. Guarantee he ever present his parents, they white. Guarantee he got white parents. And he a Honduran from a Mexican gang and shit. So they must have got here early. Inshay Street Fighter says, just passing through, says, catch your next one. Yes, indeed, bro. Appreciate that. Anthony Jones says, remember when Whack 100 pulled up to his house? Says he's been quiet ever since. No, because I don't follow these dudes. I don't follow none of these dudes. I just come across videos and hear somebody speaking on some ignorant shit they say, then I'll go watch it. And I was listening to this dude as he is talking, and his video title about, are they losing their culture? Like, what the fuck you talking about your culture? And then I see in his title, he speaks on Chicano culture. Chicano culture is a thing picked up from black folks. Like, damn, this dude don't know a goddamn thing. This is a retarded ass, older ass Mexican dude who is stupid, that no Mexican kid want to be like. Bitches don't come with that shit. Charisma doesn't come with that. Knowledge doesn't come with that. It's just a pathetic, insecure, degenerate piece of shit. Nobody wants to pick up on that. Young kids aren't picking up on that. These young kids are going in their own direction. They're being something different. They don't want to be old and stuck in old, unevolving ass ways that come from American Chicano motherfucker. And then and the Velocity Cuss says if he doesn't want his youth says to lose their identity, he says then tell them to move all his fam to Mexico, Holmes. Yeah, go back to Mexico. It's simple as that. Are with Trump, since you love Trump so much, he's snatching your people up, send them right the fuck back where their parents brought them in here from. It is simple as that. Simple as that. Your little so-called president you love so much, snatching people up, snatching up youth who look like, well, they don't look like you, but snatching up them youth and sending them back to fucking Mexico, where y'all can stay on with the culture that you come from. But all this other shit over here, they ain't your culture. Chicano culture ain't even your culture. Like, fuck this dummy talking about. Chicano culture wasn't a thing from Mexico. Thing picked up from black folks in America. This fucking dummy. It did even how y'all gangs evolve is shit picked up from black gangs and shit. The fuck you talking about? CJ says Mexicans didn't used to get lineups. Facts. Says they used to spike their hair, says, and rock bowl cuts. For real. They used to have stupid ass cuts. These fools is swag the fuck out. The what they call the other one, the Egger cuts. That's picked up on black style of shit. Little light fro, taper fro they get. They picking up on everything. Guess who on them? They bitches. They style. They don't want to be like no American Cholo motherfucker. Nigga weird, disgusting, sorry, trash, can't crack bitches. And he says, okay, we might cancel practice. All right. Yeah, because it done got cold out here in Vegas, so I might not have to take my kid to practice. So I'll run an earlier live stream then. But yeah, it's like these fools out here just be so fucking jealous of what they see others pick up from black folks. This is not a white country. Your parents may should have immigrated to Europe. Or hell, you probably can make the money and take your own ass to Europe and assimilate into that, take that culture over there. And it's just simple as that. It's no different. The Japanese adapted a lot of cultures they pick up. They adapt the Chicano culture and they look a certain way, but the cooler ones pick up the black culture over in Japan, over in Europe. It's just black culture is cooler. Black culture is more charismatic. It comes with more. The bitch is going to like you more. Your standards improve. Your confidence improve. Like shit, you ain't got to use drugs. Shit, you get off of meth and all that shit when you adapt true black behavior. Not degenerate black behavior, but the true essence of black behavior. And then Jashawn says, salute, says Mexicans, Hondurans, Salvadorians is all associated with each other. Says 13 streets in F-13 says got mixture of all them countries. And then but he out there in North Hollywood and shit. And then Brandon Washington in the building says, salute, bro. Velocity Cuss says, practice ran to shine. Says that's how you can become great. Says a great champ. Shit. Now when you got to play outside. Nah, it done got it. Look, this is the trip. Usually around October out here in Vegas, the temperatures drop down into like the 30s and shit, 40s or 30s and shit. And then you'll get this snow and shit. It's snow all around the mountains. Matter of fact, they shut the I-15, the freeway you got going into take you into California, the 15 freeway where the state line. They shut that shit down. It snowed all throughout this mug. And look, it's middle of February. So around October, the temperatures start dropping. The end of October, going to November, December, New Year, it's supposed to be cold. It's been since all the way September, October. It's been in like the 60s and 70s throughout the year. Now it didn't dip because that storm that came in from out, is that from out of LA or somewhere in California? Some storm came from out of California. That shit that knocked the temperature. It was like 40 degrees this morning. It's only 50 degrees right now. It's only 50 fucking degrees. I went out there in basketball shorts to go drop my kids off and got outside. As soon as I turned off, seeing the mountains, like, what the hell? Like, damn, it's 40 damn degrees out in this mug. So yeah, no, it's snow all out here, starting to snow in the middle of February. They said one of the mountains back here got like 30 inches of snow in 2 days. It's crazy. That's a lot of damn snow. And then what's that? George says, but check it out, Reg. She says, regardless, says if it's black culture or white culture, most young Latinos don't embrace their culture. It says like that. It says most don't know their culture, don't know their cultural customs. Yeah, they don't. And this the other thing with the Cholo dude, or whatever you call his name. Yeah, Cholo, American Cholo dude. Nothing about him displays Chicano culture. We can go into some of his content. None of it goes into an education of his culture. There is nothing to teach. What the fuck is Cholo culture? Cholo culture is gang banging. Cholo culture game banging. So we go in his content. There ain't nothing in his content meant to teach his people a fucking thing. There are no educators in here. This is about him making himself into some fucking celebrity. Him wanting to be on fucking Trump nuts, Trump videos, talking jail shit. Like, this fool's a degenerate sellout who wants to be Caucasian. He's a fucking Decepticon. He's a Caucasian agent, along with a lot of people that follow this bullshit that this idiot is on. He don't know nothing about the identity of himself, identity of whatever this culture he talking about he's supposed to be pushing. He is a dude who is insecure and jealous of black folks, the influence black people have, and it's just simple as that. And the fact that a lot of young youth who depend on what area of Los Angeles they grew up in don't pick up on any of that shit. And when they pick up on black customs, it gets them further. They become cooler. They become more confident. But when they part of a gang lifestyle, the lifestyle's still a degenerate lifestyle, whether it's Cholo or black. Motherfucker they get mad. They hear some of the Mexican kids use the N-word. They use dead homie. That's the way they talk. They gonna say, hey, SA or whatever the shit used to say. Hey, fool. That shit is old language black people used to use. And then stop using that shit. Now the Mexicans have picked up on that shit. Fool was a word black people used to do. What's up, fool? Mexicans picked that up from black folks. So it ain't no different than the N-word. Fool is a black word. Then they got the fool movement, all that other shit. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all got the dude. They even got where the Mexican dudes, even who practice the South Side culture, who now trying to start their own little kind of like how Crips and Bloods do a blood walk. Motherfuckers got the audacity to be complaining about these kids from a notorious Mexican gang who just did an interview and hearing how those youths talk. They talk like black kids because it's what they raised around. They ain't raised out there in Burbank area. And then George says most don't even speak Spanish. Says by the third generation, says they won't speak Spanish. Says they only speak Spanish to their elders. A fact. He says, but not among themselves. Says I also think it's because they are Americans. Says because they're Americans. Says but it sucks because they will lose their cultural background. Because that was happening in the 80s. I grew up with Mexican friends who did not know Spanish, and I used to even see Mexican cats who used to look white as fuck, but were Mexican. This is before I even had knowledge of the history of people down in Mexico, and the this large migrational push of Europeans all throughout Mexico, because you had a bunch of Europeans fleeing out of the countries they start wars and shit in, and freeing that shit because they losing the wars and they afraid to get killed and lose everything. They flee down to South America where they welcome them with open arms and shit. And then just like and what's custom in their background is to get a white motherfucker, they think wealth come with it. So get pregnant by a white person, rich is gonna come with it. Be connected. Y'all ain't gonna get shit but misery. And that's all it's been is misery. You stupid motherfuckers. You find people that you love and you go through that shit. You even got Mexicans out here embracing the goddamn culture and they food and song and dance that comes from out of Africa and shit. It's fucking degenerate ass punk. Talking Cholo shit. Y'all talking European shit. It's fucking, like I say, I hate ignorant motherfuckers who don't know shit. I ain't a Mexican, but I know more Mexican than American Cholo. He a degenerate idiot, homie. He a jealous ass fake Mexican. And then says, and then Bougie Barbie says that Eric Cut says is the stupidest looking mess. No, the girls like that shit. Them Edgar Mexican cut dudes is getting pussy. Them fools getting pussy. They ain't rocking the bald heads because these dudes rocking bald head because none of them know how to cut hair. Now they done picked up style. They done pick up straight up swag from black folks. Like CJ was saying, these niggas get edges. They know how to do shit with the clippers now because they didn't have to take a step. The first time when one Mexican dude start going in a black barber, they mother needed a barber. They mother living out there in the black areas and shit. When they families moving to black areas and shit. And they got food places all over the place, food stands and shit, and they need a haircut. And now the kid want to go and get a haircut like his black friends, go to black barbers. Parents take him up in, this kid looking fresh and shit. He go around his other Mexican family members who live out there where American Cholo in them look. They hair looks stupid. They clothes look stupid. They don't know how to put shit together. This Mexican kid got swag and shit. Little Mexican, he's still the Mexican chicks out there in Hollywood and shit. And so they got to adapt that shit. Learn how the black people edge up. Watching what the black kids wear and shit. Look at how they do it. Like, because it's a young black. I ain't in the cool style. And before, I used to be on the dress and shit. I accept, nigga. I keep shit true to the game. I can dress and put some shit on if I'm about to, but I ain't with like how the young kids who swag the fuck out amongst the black kids who know how to put shit together, style, and be the coolest motherfuckers out here, that even the fashion world copy a lot of shit they see from these black folks. Motherfuckers just put shit together and shit. And then Velocity Cuss says, Facts Bougie says that Edgar Taper says looks goofy as fuck. Man, the bitches love that shit. The bitches love that shit. Maybe goofy looking, but the bitches love that shit. She says, I don't want black people says being blamed for that. No, it come from black folks. Definitely black folks and their own style to that shit. But it ain't even an LA thing. It's more of I think it started out there in Texas because those Mexican cats is like more smooth. You look at how Mexicans in Texas talk. They more adapted into that black culture and they cool. They got more style, swag to them and shit. The Mexicans up north, more style, swag, and charisma to them. More charismatic with the bitches than the ones who practice how American Cholo get down. Motherfucker weird. They're fucking mad because you hear these dudes talking about dead homies. It's the way everybody down there talk. And then all across that damn state using dead homies. All across this country using dead homies. Fuck these fools talking about. And then Jashawn says, all that racist shit needs to die with that old scumbag motherfucker. Clown ass dude. Jashawn says all them Central Americans says team up in the streets. Says to go against blacks. Says except Belizean says they really black. And the next vax says, he says, what group of people says have more influence on the earth says more than black Americans. Says I'm talking about without harming, destroying, colonizing people. Says just straight influence. Asians, maybe. I wouldn't even say the Asians. Nobody. Is it Asian culture? Maybe it's Asian culture. Asians have got a strong culture, but I don't think other people practice it. It ain't. It's black culture. We influence the dance. Even a lot of food they eat down in Mexico is influenced by black folks cooking this shit. And even some Mexicans who teach the actual history teach that shit. The fuck they talking about? It's stupid. Fucking dumbass people are stupid down there. And they bring way to all them Europeans coming to that motherfucker want to reshape history and shit. And you bring these old weto ass motherfucking American cholos over here and shit. And then Bougie Barbie says I live in a large Mexican / Hispanic area. Says not many black people. Says all the barbershops have names like Fades. Says they us in the 90s, they in the 90s out there. Says and then she says, nah, says Asian copy us, says everybody copies us. Yeah, it's like that's what I was thinking when I did say Asians, and I'm looking like nobody has the cultural impact of black folks. Nobody. And that's why I hate when you see black folks that want to lose out on that shit. Don't know the history of us. Want to hide the history of us. Niggas want to be some shit in the Middle East and shit. Like motherfuckers sound stupid to me. You Moor and you fucking indigenous, you all this other dumb shit that don't mean two bits of shit. Okay, go be the shit. Just don't come back with that old 1880 ass outfits that you think they used to wear and shit. Niggas don't know nothing about what them niggas wore and be want to wear any old stupid mythical ass shit to put on and act all stupid and shit. They ain't got nothing to do with the modern age and shit. Now all of a sudden, because niggas so dumb, want to reject light and all that shit. How to turn on power and fucking dumbass niggas. Fuck out of here with that shit. We're in the modern motherfucking age, moving forward, trying to learn how to invent these flying fucking cars and all this other shit. When you hit a little poop butt motherfucker like American Cholo worried about how motherfucking kids talk. When he ain't about to, he want to reject these kids using dead homies. Well, teach these kids something. You don't teach these kids some mathematical shit, or you want to teach them how to say, hey, homes. Change the N word up with homes or essay. Yeah, you ain't change with that. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here. You couldn't even teach one of these kids how to write. Just stupid ass. And Bougie says, write the velocity cuts. And then, but folks, that's all I got. But I was tripping off of looking at that video. And salute to the dude who channel I got it from. His name was Supreme. Oh, let me go back to that channel. His name was King Supreme, I believe it was. Let me see. And then I want to finish watching his opinion on the topic as well, because he's the only person I've seen talk about this idiot. When I see him write in his video, wait, where's the King Supreme dude? Yeah, here go the King Supreme one is right here. He writes, so let me give credit where credit is due. That's the one thing I do. Ain't no poop butt degenerate motherfucker like a lot of these people on YouTube want to be stars. So this is the dude channel, King Supreme TV. He writes live, says American Cholo speaks on Mexicans losing their culture and acting black. That motherfuckers really got this fear of what black folks are. I love that shit. That shit makes me so proud to hear insecure motherfuckers hating on black folks when not realizing the impacts and benefits black people have given to them. Even your parents even coming here and being here. But I don't know, like I said, American Cholo got white parents and shit, but one side of them can be an immigrant. But the fact when it comes to a lot of these immigrants who have issues with black, picking up on black shit, your parents even being able to come to America is due to black folks. Not just from white folks. Yeah, white folks snuck you over here to use your ass to work their fields because they got lazy ass family members and the other little lazy motherfuckers in them little farm village towns they lived in who black people wasn't going to work in the motherfuckers. But then for y'all to come here and start fighting for rights, Cesar Chavez helping you farmers and you other motherfuckers to get rights, benefits, black folks. When the zoot suit motherfuckers getting smacked around by white folks and shit, and y'all coming up with it with your own stance and learn to boycott, organize, unify, black folks. So American Cholo, you better go learn something, pick up a book, stop being a little fucking insecure, lost, delusional, old ass motherfucker who gonna just die old and stupid and lost. Get your knowledge up, and maybe that's what you should teach the rest of them. And keep loving Trump, you fucking sellout ass fool. What I heard of one thing said a Mexican. That's what American Cholo is. He a Mexican. I'ma still wonder who that came from. That came from Black Fight Fan in there. I'm gonna call American Cholo as a Mexican. That's what he is. He is sellout of his people because part of him is white. And then Jashawn says, no, says viral way says be cooking them clowns, says be cooking them clown Mexicans, says like him and says in Hater World. See, I don't even know who these fools is. Like I say, the only time y'all ever heard me talk American Cholo is because I watched Snoop Dogg dad do that interview about Vietnam. And it was probably the only education related shit that dude has ever had on there. And he was mesmerized hearing a white story because he could have brought a white Vietnam vet, and a white Vietnam vet would have gave you some old watered down bullshit ass story about what Vietnam was and talking about the Viet Cong this and the Viet Cong that. Nah, Snoop Dogg dad laid it out from what the war was. These white folks over there with their degenerate ass behavior, and blacks out of the cities having to whoop they motherfucking ass like you got to do in the military. And then George but I think that we distinguish Mexican and Mexican American cultures. Says they are two different things. Says most natives don't mess with the American Mexican. Says dudes out here, yeah, because they probably look at them as degenerate motherfuckers. They degenerate and pants sagging motherfuckers, and then they just fools want to talk about what the Mexican culture is. This fucking shit is crazy. That's why you can't even apply with gang cultures being black related culture. Like, no, it's what you two come out of the rebellion, the movements of rebellion and shit, and then moved to some other shit and dealing with the influence of America's impact with bringing drugs into this motherfucker, stealing away the economy, bringing drugs in this motherfucker, creating a new economy along with violence behind that shit that is shaped what is today's American gangs. Like, simple as that. With motherfuckers without knowledge, have no understanding. That's why I never involved myself with gang shit. Like I say, me growing up, I always, as a kid, wanted to be a Black Panther. I never saw myself wanting to kill a black motherfucker over a fucking color or because you live over here. Absolutely not. I see myself in black motherfuckers. And then and he says, American Cholo says real disappointing in Mex. Mex are northern Mexican, so he up north Mexican. You can't sit there and tell these people a Mexican dude. It's nothing worse than seeing people looking at youth and telling them what they should sound like or being shocked that they talk this way. And people worry about what people talk and this and that, rather than clean the motherfucker up. You worry about, oh, they too influenced by black. They too influenced by white. Are you worried if this nigga know how to read? Are you worried about whether or not he's knowledgeable in something, whether or not he's skilled mathematically, whether he got something going? He's worried about what gang influence a motherfucker. Like, I see nothing more despicable in my life than that shit. Like, if I was watching the Compton Rick Rock dude speak on this shit when he seen this video, and even him having the same reaction as American Cholo on that shit. And I like watching the Compton Rick Rock content. Then I don't like watching his content because he support that degenerate ass shit that ain't worried about nothing but to go in this promotion and excitement of seeing the continuation of gang shit that is going ass backwards. Is if I'm a white motherfucker and I'm a government employed white motherfucker, I'm gonna go in there and continue to pull the puppet strings. I'm gonna implant drugs over here, make these niggas think they balling out of control. I'm gonna let this nigga do violent shit as I'm watching from afar, bird's eye view. Say, hey, I don't watch you commit that damn robbery, that shooting, and that murder. But hey, I can use you rather than arrest you. I can use you rather than arrest you, and I'm gonna turn you into a what? I'm gonna read comments and see if you stupid. Not saying y'all in here, but showing how they use stupid motherfuckers to become what? I done watched you do this, but I'm not gonna arrest you. So do you want to become this? And what is this? And it says, let me see. He says I don't watch them channels. Says they keep blacks in their name for views and attention. Says when they try to talk about Chicano culture, says they don't get no views because they don't know Chicano culture. And the Chicano culture has died off because of the degenerate shit has replaced it. Just like on our side, the degenerate shit has replaced black power movements on top of drugs. So what does a person become when these cops are watching? Because a lot of them now, they go about doing all this type of way out shit, crimes, murders, and they're watching them because they playing puppet master on these degenerate motherfuckers. Yeah, let them think they bought. We're going to give them drugs, let them sell it over here. Let them shoot up some shit over there. They don't know we put this shit in here. These niggas think they got to connect. Yeah, he killed this shit. He did this shit. All right, we're going to pull him over. We've been watching him. We got cameras all over this place, surveillance shit. We're going to watch him. We ain't got cameras inside the house when they making these deals and having these conversations and all that other shit. So nobody put the answer. I'm talking about what they become. We ain't going to arrest you, but we're going to use you as an informant. You can even make money. You can continue to do the violent shit that you do inside this community because we give two fucks. But we want to remove this other guy who has a little bit more knowledge and is hard to take down and a push towards the degeneracy shit. We want to use you to take away the actual thinkers within this shit because we need to destroy you. And the plan is taking a little bit too long to fully destroy you, motherfuckers. So we ain't got enough people like your stupid ass to continue to go about this mission that we have planned where we're going to use you. So we want to have you to get this smart motherfucker who's also involved in this underworld that you're in, but not committing crimes and all that shit. But it's set up a network of the shit we put in there, but we don't want it to work that way. We need to get rid of him. We don't want him influencing and teaching you guys and providing you with structure and leadership. We need to get him out of here so that the next one of you stupid motherfuckers think you the big dude on the block and you come in a position and nobody learns shit. And now we can continue to destroy the rest of your motherfucking, not your gang and organization, because you are a people and a race. We'll get rid of that shit. And the Velocity says American Cholo things says Abuelito and Lapita says supposed to be in the kitchen, says all day, shaking my head, says them dudes are says are over Holmes. Yeah, don't no Mexican bitch want to deal with them kind of dudes. They lame as fuck. Mexican bitches want motherfuckers. That's why some of Mexican bitches throughout the test of time, throughout even the division between black and Mexicans, have fucked with black dudes. Even though it was the two dudes when I was going to go, that's two black dudes, or they was twins and shit. Their mama was a Mexican in the heart of Vardio, what is it called? Vardio, Norwalk, or Norwalk 13, wherever they was from. And then the Jean says, stop, he says, stop fronting. Says, you a block crip, says Rolling Honey, cuz nah, I'm associated with them. The people I grew up with, people I love. I got respect. I don't respect the gang related shit, but the people I grew up with, that's my block I grew up on. But me associated with being a gang member, absolutely not. I wouldn't even be fraudulent enough to claim that. But all those people I grew up with, absolutely. Have I grown up with people from Hoover? Absolutely. As friends, as a black youth, I grew up in an environment as a black youth and stayed true to being black. Never rejected my identity as black to drop it and pick up a flag, and now I want to kill niggas I grew up with. Like, no, I got too much different history than motherfuckers. I done grew up with older parents, then viewed life different from a different lens than a lot of people growing up. My existence since life is different than people growing up. I could be a crash out and a fuck up based on what the statistics show for a nigga who come into the world the way I come into it. And I'm not. I'm a nigga who appreciates shit. I'm blessed in a motherfucker. I don't take it for granted. So to become a gang member wasn't in my cards. I wasn't about to do that shit. Could I have if I didn't see my neighbor get killed because of how cool and influential the gang shit look? Probably so. But me seeing that shit and seeing it for a different, like, nah. I didn't think black people did that shit. I thought our enemies was white clans type people. I would have definitely became a gang member on that type of shit. Like I said, I always wanted to be a fucking Black Panther. And then Andrew Charles in the bill, salute Andrew Charles. He back now that always right with Reggie Owens. Everything he been saying about that Russian war and Donald Trump, that showed you. Nigga know what he talking about all day. Andrew Charles says children of immigrants, says raised in America, says are going to embrace American culture regardless of what their parents think. Says that's just how it is. Says kids find their own path. Absolutely. Because the kids grow up in this country that their parents didn't. Their parents' existence was in the country they come from, with the customs and culture from that country they come from, that maybe the kids had it. And then it becomes a different thing when you have a kid. So some of them come over here as little kids, and they may have a little bit of the shit they bring from Mexico. But if you had two Mexican parents that got the fucking here on American soil, had a kid, but say you're Mexican raised around white folks, your kid's going to be associated with a lot of white culture. Some of them white kids and the Mexican kids who grew up around white folks, they listen to rock and roll. That's why their music sound the way they do. They listen to rock and roll. They listen to motherfucking some of that doo-wop shit. And then you can start getting them into, because there was a time where you still had them like Mexicans in that shit. They used to be into this rebel shit. This is a Mexican dude on Instagram used to be clowning that shit. Fernando Vargas used to be one of them type people. Where Fernando Vargas at that time had the little long strands of hair. I think that was shit. I think even the rebel culture is lightweight, like homosexual shit. It's like metrosexual, weird kind of shit. And I guess they used to do fruity shit. They be like the Mexican ravers shit. But we used to see them dress, man. They style used to be like, man, like niggas, you a homo or what the fuck going on? So that become part of them because those are the ones raised around white folks. They grew up listening to all that sublime shit. They listen to all that shit. But Mexicans raised around black folks did not listen or act like none of that shit. You didn't see that in the Mexicans. Their influences with us. They either listen to maybe some of that Mexico shit or this and that. So it's all about where the Mexican kid is, the environment he comes in from. But their environment is they feel better when it's around us and shit. Outside of them being presented with some of that little racial hate shit that comes from out of them being with Spaniard blood in them and shit. A lot of them pick up that negative, ill, sick minded shit from out of Mexico's Spaniard influence, which is a European influence, European behavior and mindset. And then I'm an OD in the building says, salute. Brandon says, did I miss the music? No, I didn't even do the music show. I wasn't even gonna go live till I seen this shit. I was about to try to rest up before I gotta get my kids and shit. But I don't think they haven't practiced. I think if my daughter got Girl Scouts, I'm gonna wait after that shit, and then we can go live and do some music, and then jump into the West Coast shit. But no, I'll probably do the live shit earlier tomorrow because, like I said, I had them people come in here and have to work on fixing these stairs and shit. And then I need the new floor and shit. But yeah, I'll jump on music afterwards. But I'm about to end this one because I'm gonna leave in what about an hour and a half? Wait, yeah, about an hour and a half. I'm about to leave here, so I'm gonna get off here to chill out before I gotta go pick my kids up. But all right, folks, I'll be back on this mug later. We're gonna do the music one. But like I say, ignorant ass dudes who fake this Cholo Chicano culture shit just to display their little racial hate for black folks, show their insecurities, show that they wish they had a greater influence, but it's nothing they passed over to the young Mexican youth who don't want to be part of that weird shit and be uncooled and pass by. Because every young man wants to get laid. And acting like these fools get you nothing. You start developing the rapist, child molesting behaviors that a lot of these people have grown up with. And to break away from that shit is to delineate from the teachings of them scumbags. But that's all I got. American Cholo is a nobody until he wakes the fuck up. But that's all I got. And like the one dude in the beginning of the comment said, this fool has a mixed race grandchild. And the son-in-law should not want to do anything with this motherfucker. Fucking in-law. That's all I got. Peace, folks. I'm out.